Welcome back, everybody. Today we're talking about overcoming the most difficult steps in recovering after a narcissist. And I want to speak on this because it's a very important thing in regards to truly healing and moving on, right? Many of you struggle with moving forward after a narcissist. You're left in a daze, confused, hurt, oftentimes wanting revenge, which is all normal. A lot of you are just coming into this information, and your disposition on it is going to be of the things that I just mentioned, because, you had this rude awakening of something, and now you feel some type of way, and, you know, you're stuck in that position right now. And so you're coming for the information. You're being enlightened with information about narcissistic personality disorder. But you have to be able to, after a while, put things into a perspective and realize that, hey, you still have a lot of life left to live ahead of you, God willing, right? And that everything does not start and stop with your experience with the narcissist, because there's the you after the narcissist. Once the narcissist is out of the picture, you still have to live life. You still have to do things and operate and function as a human being. So there comes a point in time where watching these videos, even after a while, on narcissistic awareness is going to become ineffective or non-effective after a while. And in their area of basically progressing, getting unstuck from the rut that you're in. And eventually you're going to have to do something about that, right? Because this is only going to take you so far. As I said, when I started, I was in the same position that many of you were in, coming into the awareness, angry, and all this stuff. But I realized time was still passing, and I wanted to feel better. And I did educate myself on this and get knowledge and stuff like that. And you get to a point where you realize that everything that happens and is happening to you on this earth, in this life, how you feel, the things that's going on in your environment around you, what people think of you, all these things. Guess what? You can't take it to the grave with you. It has no value. It has no value in the grave, right? You can only go by the living and producing good deeds, and living as close to, the will of God and what he says, how we're supposed to conduct ourselves and whatnot, right? But all these other things, they have no value in the grave. So why worry about them? Why put so much emphasis on them? And in part of that, when you look at it from a recovering standpoint, right? In the life that you have, and being thankful and grateful, that we look at that thing of gratitude. We have to have a certain sense of gratitude for what we do have, right? If you have good health, you're blessed. I don't care how much money you got in the world. Health is everything. That has to be number one. So just having good health after this, you're blessed. There's things to be thankful for. Gratitude is one of the first steps of recovering, finding the things that you're grateful for and having, right? Because healing, as a lot of you have come to know, and if you don't know, it involves action, specific actions towards feeling better about yourself and the image that you see yourself in. This is going to help promote an overall sense of well-being, right? A healthy mindset. So number one, all of these narcissistic encounters and things carry with it dense, heavy, dark energy that actually promotes more sorrow, self-pity, anger, resentment, and inner torment that will basically draw your focus and attention to more of the same people, more of the same circumstances and environments, right? So to be locked in on it, like I understand that there's people that's new coming into this, but for those of you who've been around and you have a grasp of this, it's getting to that next stage, that next level. And that means offsetting needs to be realized. That's how do we offset that dark energy, that dense energy, that depressing energy. And in order to break that hypnotic rhythm is what it's been referred to as well. Look that up if you don't know what hypnotic rhythm is that you're stuck in. You have to deliberately, intentionally create new patterns of interest and actions and associates, right? One of the things that I found that was useful was getting into a hobby. I'm into cars, like working on cars, project cars, racing, going to car shows, being around car guys that's deep. I mean, that really have a passion for cars, right? Find good social groups, right? Groups that have hobbies, that you can participate with and involve yourself with other people who are driven and passionate about these things and these particular hobbies, right? Constructively, right? There's like clubs that build, it's like a kite club. They get together, they meet up, they work on their kites, building their custom kites. And then as a group, they go out and fly them, they decorate them and all of this. And, and they go out and fly them. They get together on the weekend. They go out and fly their kites together. Now, for some, that may not be your speed, but for some others, the point is it's creating a positive connection with people who are passionate about doing what they're doing, and you're around good energy, right? It's no talking about narcissism or nothing like that. It's just good times and focusing on the things that people are passionate about within that group, right? It becomes a support system. It helps take your mind specifically off just thinking on narcissistic stuff and what's happened to you with the narcissist, right? Trust me, this is very healthy to be in positive groups that have a lot of passion about what they do. And it's nothing to do with, I'm not even talking religion or anything. Like, I'm just talking about hobbies, just hobbies, constructive ones. Right? It gives you something to do. It takes your mind off of just focusing on the event, and it allows you to socialize and meet new different types of friends. It's also going to start breaking down that dark energy that you've been harboring and holding within. It starts to dissipate that. It starts offsetting that. And that's important. That's going to be important, especially moving forward. Again, you still have a life to live, and you want to get back to a point where you're feeling good and confident about yourself, right? It gives you something to look forward to. You get to meet up with your group or whatnot, and there's nothing else, talked about in that group but the hobbies that people are passionate about. Right? You get to make good connections. You meet a lot of good people. You don't have to be immediate friends and stuff like that. It's just when y'all come together, this is what it's about. And it's positive, good interaction, right? Outside of speaking and talking about narcissism all the time, which, as you know, that's what I talk about here. And this is one thing I'm coming to see within the frame. You've heard me mention it before if you've been following me a while about moving to at least away from so much as speaking and educating about what narcissism is. There's a slew of people out there now that, talk about and identify what narcissistic personality disorder is and the signs and symptoms. But after we get that, where are we left off at? Afterwards, it's like, I get it now, but I'm still in this space. I'm still stuck. I still don't feel like I've bounced back all the way to where I am. What next? Well, that means there has to be that next phase, that next level, that next transition outside of this to bring you to the next level, to bring you to the next step. Right. And so, that's one thing that I'm starting to see in this too, is the stagnation sets in. Complacency, being stagnant, because it's like, okay, I'm here now, but where to next? And so these are some of the things that I'm mentioning that helps. You may not think so, but having a good hobby, being around positive people starts to disintegrate that energy. You won't want to be around, and in many ways, you won't even want to talk about narcissism after you get to this certain point where you're starting to find this keyword, joy. When you're, living in joy and you found joy, things that make you happy inside, you're good. You don't really even want to hear about it or entertain it or be around any negativity, or you're not drawn to it anymore. All right. You're not going to want to talk about narcissistic abuse stuff. You're going to start being attracted to high frequency, bright energy that motivates and uplifts you. That's what you're going to run off fuel wise. And that's what you're going to want to surround yourself with. So, yeah, just putting that out, and there's more to it. There's more steps and phases to it, to building on top of that, to get into a point where you have that joy and peace and contentment outside of what you came from that dark, dense energy, So anyway, just something to think about. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Till next time, we'll talk soon.